You are now listening to
Likely to Dispute.
hosted by Monkas, Reed, and Tyler.
How's everybody doing? It's Cevan, aka the Monkas. Join with me today, as always, is Reed and Tyler, and this is episode 45 of Likely to Dispute.
We have a wonderfully fun episode today. The once a year episode we get to do, which is the 2025 playoffs preview episode. It should be a very fun one. We have our positional rankings among playoff teams, try to break down where teams excel, where they don't, which teams might have the advantage, and then we're going to make our picks for round one. We will not be making full bracket picks right now, just one round at a time. So we're going to jump right in here to our positional rankings, and we're starting off with the quarterback list. We have 6 teams. It's pretty hard in a super flex league to be looking at a playoff or even the chance at a championship without, solid to elite quarterbacks here. And I think the field that we have here really proves that well, looking at the quarterbacks that we have in the playoff field here. So, Cevan, we're going to start with you because your group here, your rankings are much different than where Tyler and I's rankings are, where we're only a spot or two off. You have kind of a shocker here at the number one spot.
Can I jump in real quick before we start?
Sure, feel free.
Maybe I missed it, but we ranked the positional groups here strictly on the next 3 weeks, the playoffs, and did account for real life NFL matchups as well as injuries in these rankings. So just to be clear, this was not from, a whole dynasty outlook. It was just pretty narrow scope next 3 weeks.
Yes.
So these would definitely change if it was just pure dynasty.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. That is an important distinction. We're talking purely over the next 3 playoff weeks, how we're ranking these here. So thank you for bringing that up. That's why we have co-hosts. Cevan, going back to you here, you've got a couple of shockers. You've got Trent at number 1, where Tyler and I both have him at 4, and you have me at number 4, where Tyler and I both have him at 1. So why don't you give us a little insight into the thought process here on some of your rankings?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is just my opinion, obviously, but Matthew Stafford, he's been great all year. He throws a lot of touchdowns. Jordan Love, over the last month or so, has turned it on. He does technically have a third quarterback, which helps. Not that McCarthy's any good or anything, but he's still eligible to be started. If we're comparing him to you, it's nothing against you as a person. I see the names.
I take personal offense to it.
That's fine. Yeah, it's just preference, I suppose. I don't deny that Burrow and Dak are in similar situations to where not great defenses. They're throwing, even if they had a good defense, they throw it all over the field. But I guess you do have Mariota back again, being another starter. It's just preference for me. I know for Sandy too, I have Sandy ahead of you. I'm not putting I guess probably last week was his worst game, maybe of his career, turnover wise for sure. But the tush push isn't banned yet. He's still been getting his rushing touchdowns this season. Jared Goff, the Lions are in a fight for their playoff life. Specifically this week, they play the Rams. Just as a football fan, I think that'll be a super fun game. But and then one more spot, Rob. That's probably the best argument I could probably flip you to. Herbert hasn't been great lately, but that's where having the third quarterback in Jacoby really helps, because I think he's probably his best option. Maybe overall, okay, maybe not. He should be a lineup lock at this point. Sorry, this is long-winded, but the reason I guess I have myself over Sumner, while he definitely has more quarterbacks to play, I think I just have the best of the bunch, which is why I gave myself the pity 5 instead of 6.
Yeah, if I could push back, I feel like your reasoning for having me so low doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Dak is averaging more points per game than Stafford this year. So yes, while Stafford has been great, Dak has been statistically better in fantasy football. Jordan Love's in QB 16 this year. Burrow's averaged 24 points per game in his 2 games since his return. My third quarterback is better than hers third quarterback. So I don't really get a whole lot of reason by having me at 4. I think Trent at 1 is defensible, but not when you put me at 4. So, and Rob, for me, the difference between him and Sandy was the third quarterback. There's at least some depth there. Yeah. So Tyler, I'll pass it over to you here. Our rankings are very similar, a couple of flip spots.
Yeah.
But give us any additional points that hadn't got brought up yet for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. This Swan's going to call it glaze. I assure you it is not. But Burrow's been above 20 points in each of the games he's played this year. And then you already brought up Dak on a per game basis against Stafford there. So, and you have Mariota if you need him. So I'm right there with you. I think you have the best QB room amongst the playoff teams here. Rob, I had a little bit lower. With Cevan, we both had him 3, whereas you had him 2. And there's just some tough matchups in there with the Chargers in week 15 here, and then Denver in week 17. And then in week 16, they play the Titans, which obviously
Are
the
you talking
Titans.
about Patrick?
Yeah, did I say someone else? I'm sorry.
You
Or
didn't
did I
say
not?
anybody.
Oh, yes, Patrick Mahomes. Yes. Um, Tennessee week 16. And obviously not a great defense, but because of that, I could see it just being a ground and pound type of game. So I wasn't loving Mahomes' schedule. And then Herbert is obviously a little bit banged up in the offensive line, seems to really be struggling as of late. So I dropped Rob to 3 there. I had Sandy at 2, hoping for a turnaround from Jalen Hurts this week, and Jared Goff has been his typical Jared Goff self. One other team I'll note is you, Savon. I had you at 6, and I was the only one who had you at 6. It's just Drake May, as good as he is, he's not taking up 2 roster spots. He's only taking up 1. So I just don't know between Kirk Cousins, Tyrod Taylor, JF1 and $3 Brosmer. That's just I don't know. I wouldn't want to start any of those guys in the super flex spot. I know you don't either, of course, but I can't justify putting you higher than 6 when one of those guys will be in your starting lineup likely.
Mm-hmm.
My only pushback on that is I know we did take injuries into account, and Tyrod's probably not going to play this year, but uh this week, sorry. But I do think there's an argument that a healthy Tyrod would be Sumner's best quarterback.
No,
Um,
I was about to say I totally agree with what you're saying, and then you said what you said, and I stopped because
yeah,
when I did my rankings, it was unsure what Tyrod's status was, and like I think of Tyrod like honestly pretty similar to Mariota in the fact that not a great NFL quarterback, but a solid enough NFL quarterback, can distribute, has at least okay options for weapons, and can provide some value on the ground in some cases. So like I think Tyrod's a perfectly okay low end super flex starter.
yeah,
But I also was okay with it until he said he would be Sumner's best quarterback, and that I disagree with.
I
But I do have Sumner at 6. But the more I look at it, the more I think I'm agreeing with Tyler here. I'd probably flip Cevan to 6 now that we know that we're recording this just before Thursday night football here, just before it begins here, and I think that I would definitely put Cevan at 6 if we knew Kirk Cousins was his second quarterback.
yeah,
I will say in the games Tyrod started this year, he averages 18 points per
Yeah,
game, which
that's
which
good.
is more than I know it's a super small sample size, but it is more than every quarterback on Sumner's roster. Now, the next closest is Lawrence with 17 and then Baker at 16. Again, small sample
Baker's
size, but
17.4. What are you looking at?
which if you round down, or the rounding properties, it goes to
If you round
17.
down from 17.4 to 16, what?
Oh, sorry, I flipped them then. One was 16,
I'll
one was 17.
I'll also note that again we're talking small samples here, but Tyler Shuck has been solid in a few games this year,
This is correct.
and he's scored more than 19 points in 3 of the games he started out of the 5, and then he
3 of the
has
last 4.
yes, he has Carolina this week, the Jets in 16, Tennessee in week 17. So honestly, that's a pretty soft matchup for Tyler Shuck, and I'm sure, at this point the Saints are just seeing what they have, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't just let him sling it these next few weeks.
We
And so
love
Is he still on
watching.
taxi?
that's a
He
good
is. He
question.
is still on taxi squad because he's got 3 active ones, but I'm sure he would not hesitate if he needed to start him to pull him up.
That's
Yep.
fair.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I officially
it's
switched
at
my
the
ranking
minimum.
from Cevan to 6 and Sumner to 5. Shout out
Wow.
Sumner.
Let's
For the
go.
depth, I understand it. I'm not arguing.
Yep.
I'm just saying there is an argument to be made for Tyrod.
Yes, agreed. Tyrod fan. As the AD Mitchell owner, Tyrod fan. Going to running backs here, we do have quite a bit more consensus on this one. Just a couple of one-off disagreements from most of us. Tyler, we'll start with you. Consensus 1, consensus 6, and then 1 or 2 spots here are on the outset. So why don't we start with you?
Mhm.
Probably not a whole lot to talk about. Trent's room has no depth. Saquon is good, hasn't been great. Aaron Jones has been injured off and on, but probably makes sense why that's 6th. And you look how many freaking names Sumner has listed on his roster, and then headed by Christian McCaffrey. Probably makes sense why he's 1. So why don't you give us specifically on Cevan? You have him at 2, while
Mhm.
we have him at 3. So why don't you give us a little bit on that, and then on Sandy's room versus mine at 4 and 5.
Yeah, just looking at the two running backs that are starting here. Cevan goes up pretty close to Andrew in terms of who's it's better. Andrew, of course, has Christian McCaffrey and Javonte Williams. Cevan has Jahmyr Gibbs and Travis Etienne. Now, I know I do have Rob at 3, and he has Bucky Irving, Brees Hall, probably at that 2 spot, or in this running back lineup, or running back starting spot, excuse me. So I guess what I'm saying is it's really close amongst those 3. I gave Cevan the number 2 spot almost strictly because of Jahmyr Gibbs and just the explosive games he's had this year. I know he's had a few duds as well, but I mean, we're talking a few games that are above 30 points, a 38-point week, 36, 37, 55 in week 12 against the Giants. So there's just no one on this list that can put up a week like that, not even McCaffrey, in my opinion. So I gave Savon the number 2 spot, even though he has legitimately no running back depth. So, if Savon has us, if Gibbs or ETN get hurt, this isn't. I I don't think I should be getting clowned for that because I'm not accounting for that here, even though I do know he has no depth. So that was the biggest reason I put Savon in the 2 spot was just because of who Jahmyr Gibbs is, and I don't think any other running back in the league honestly can do what he does.
Mhm. Yeah, I think when you look at the top 3 the consensus top 3 running back rooms for us between in some order Sumner, Cevan, and Rob, you kind of have like Rob plus Cevan equals Sumner. Cevan has the 2 really good names, but basically no depth, whereas Rob has no like elite RB1, but has a ton of depth. And then you get
Yeah.
Sumner where he has McCaffrey, who's kind of the Gibbs. Javante's been a top 12 guy this year, but then he also has a bunch of options, none super inspiring, but are all, I don't want to say someone's going to get me roasted here, that are all kind of playable in some situations that were worthy of being listed on here. So,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I had Savant at 3 purely because uh, there was literally not another running back worth listing on the list. So,
Can
there
we
is some
just
concern there.
Savon, permission to roast you real quick?
Granted.
Sure.
Okay. Reed and I have both said no running back depth, but it's important to know that there was a 2025 rookie draft first rounder who is still on Savant's team, and we have not listed him as running back depth. That's
I'm
Caleb
sure
Johnson.
he will not
Correct.
hesitate to pull him up if he needs to start him.
Correct.
Vers to nut, baby.
I'll
Savant, wait,
take
no,
it
I
away.
didn't hand it to you yet, Savant. So, Savant, over to you now. We are in perfect lockstep here on all of our picks. Um, and it don't no need to retread any of Tyler's points. If you had anything else unique to add, either on my running back room, Sandy's, or on the you versus Rob discussion, please chime in now.
Yeah, starting at the bottom, yeah, with Trent Barkley, he's been a regression, major regression this year. And then you all know by now my feelings on Pacheco. I don't know that he needed to be added to this list, but
It's because
yeah,
he was better than any of your third running backs, but he was at least kind of playable in a worst case scenario.
okay. And then
Yes, the
yeah,
Titans week 16.
There you go.
Aaron Jones, he's whatever. Um, Sandy, he's got Bajan. That's what I guess him and Barkley head to head took Bajan. And then Swift, he's been solid this year, so that's a great RB2. I just think the rest of the field just has uh more talent. Going up to Mr. Reed. Uh, top three guys have been underwhelming, I guess. Yeah, Walker's been underwhelming. What you expected when you acquired Henry. All year we just thought it would get better, and it just really never did. And then Kyron ceding work to Blake Corum. That's not fun. And then yeah, the big three at the top. We're all in alignment with Sumner. Has the most depth and has ceiling with CMC and Javante. The difference for me between myself and Rob is while I think I have the better player, he has six players that he can play, and I think five of them comfortably play. Uh, so yeah, even if I think I have the best overall running back in the remaining playoffs, like what Tyler said, that's it. That's really it. So, um, yeah, but yeah, I didn't notice until you said that we had the exact same
Hmm.
rankings. So
You finally learned some common sense. Proud of you.
there we go.
I'll just say real quick, the same reason I had Cevan over Rob is why I picked, or I have Sandy higher than you, Reed. It's just Sandy has Bijan Robinson, and you don't have anything like that. No offense.
That was so rude.
Yeah, it's kind of
No,
rude.
I'm
The
just.
the only see, and I don't want to say this, but like, okay, so read mute your ears. But like Kenneth Gainwell and Kenneth Walker are like the same person.
I would rather have Kenneth Gainwell.
I'm
Okay,
sure you
yeah.
would,
We
Bucko.
gotta just move on, move on.
Wide receivers, very much in alignment again here, except for Cevan, has himself a little bit higher. Holy Glaze. Tyler and I in lockstep on this one as well. So Tyler will start. Actually, no, sorry. Cevan, will start with you. You've got your beat up wide receiver room 2 spots ahead of where Tyler and I have you, and then just kind of knocked everybody else down. So why don't we allow you, hopefully briefly, to discuss your wide receiver room why you have it so high. We don't need a full rundown on every single player's practice status from both days so far this week.
Um, yeah, well, starting at the top, I think that this is going to be the major discussion between you and Reed, or between you and Rob. I think it's obvious. You're missing Wilson and London, and if you weren't missing them, you'd be one. Simple as that.
Um,
Are,
how much
make
did
go.
you guys like? Obviously, I'm ranking and I have a bye, but like I didn't weight the Drake London injury as heavily because I know I didn't need him this
Hmm,
week. Did you
that's a
guys
good
factor
point.
that in at all?
Um,
Uh,
no, but I'm also under the impression he doesn't play again the rest of the year.
Okay, well, that's just there's no indication that he's done for the year.
Okay, that's completely fine.
I I did weigh that, but I also I'm between you two. I don't think he's out the rest of the year, but I'm not necessarily I'm not feeling optimistic he's back by week 16. I don't know if you
Well, there's
are
only
or
one
not,
more week
right?
after that, so
Well, plus if he's in next
Yeah.
week, obviously you're playing him, but how much does he even play? Blah blah blah. Uh,
I guess I erred on the side of caution with London where it's like I didn't if if thought London was completely healthy, I probably would have had you one, but I didn't want to make that leap. And obviously he's not in week 15 here, but it doesn't matter, of course, like you said, because you're on bye. But I
yeah.
it
I
was
was just gonna say with the long week, if he doesn't play next week, again, they're playing tonight on Thursday Night Football. If he doesn't play next week, then I don't think he plays week 17. But there's been no reporting yet that says he's done for the year. And if he does play, they're not idiots. Like he wouldn't play unless he was fully cleared to play, especially with the injury that he had. So I don't know if he plays, but I guess for me myself, giving it a little bit more error on the side of positivity because I know I didn't need him this week, even though we know he's already out. So
yeah.
just wanted to ask you guys that because I meant to bring that up earlier with
Yeah, that's a good
someone's
point.
injury.
Oh, I think I mention Mahomes matchup in week
Yes. Oh,
15?
yes. That was it. That was exactly what I was going to mention. Is that
Yeah.
Rob didn't need Mahomes this week, so even in a tough matchup,
Yep, that's a
I didn't hold
great
that against
point.
him as much.
Yep.
Sorry, Cevan, continue.
You're good. Okay, so there's all that on the top two, and then uh, I'm gonna try and make the case for myself. We're all in agreement. Sumner, sixth here. It's it's not really an inspiring room at all. It's really the middle guys, and my argument I'm going to make for myself is, well, one, Michael Pittman now without Daniel Jones, who had been playing well, and Pittman was back to relevancy this year. Quarterback uncertainty. Yes, AJ Brown's a dog. He's back to what he's been. After that, I'm not sure Wicks, Golden, Keon, or Keenan are startable. For sure, for sure, Keon, Golden, and Wicks are not startable. Keenan in a pinch. And so to me, he's got one for sure startable, and then questionable with Pittman and Keenan. That was my argument to be above Sandy. Trent, I'm okay if you guys want to put him above me. Love George Pickens, he's a dog. Stephon Diggs is a great flex. DK's 50-50. And then Higgins and DK are not startable. And obviously we have Evans coming back tonight. Hasn't played in 2 months. Um, yeah, so and then I guess on my team, Marv's looking like the only one that's gonna miss. But I think
Pat Bryant
I
already, I
have
believe, got ruled out this week, didn't he?
no. I was 100% joking when I said that.
I thought I saw that he was.
Let me look real
No,
quick. I
I'll
hope.
look. You finish up whatever you had to say,
Okay, well,
if you had anything left to say.
uh, trending towards missing week 15. So I didn't see that until now. Other than that, though, I believe I have four startable wide receivers in T. Rowe, McLaurin, and Worthy, which
Is
I
Worthy
don't
startable?
He is not.
Worthy is like worse Zay Flowers.
so far. But if you want to put Worthy against Coleman, Golden, Wicks, Higgins, DK, Evans, I'll take Worthy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Tyler, anything else to add from you here in this section on anything Savan said or any new comments you have?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're pretty even. If I mean, just to touch on it again, if Drake London's healthy, I think I do put your team above Rob's. Rob has JSN, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Lad McConkey, and that's just I don't think anyone's healthy for or current force stack up against those four right now, even with Jefferson and McConkey having struggles at times. Um, so yeah, like I said, we're on the same page, Reed. Savan, not to keep going at you, but I did just want to say in this section right now, I think there's a legitimate chance Rome pulls a QJ and puts up his second bagel of the year this week against the Browns. He's already been trending in a bad way, and he has a nagging foot injury, and it's the Browns who, perpetually have a tougher defense, and the Bears haven't needed to rely on him super heavy. Rome's already put up a zero. I'm gonna call my shot here. Another zero burger from Rome this week in the playoffs.
Yeah, I
Can,
think
can you make the argument for Sandy over me real quick?
yeah, I think it's pretty
Both of you.
easy. Four of your six receivers could be out this week still. So,
Yes.
and Pittman caught like 7 balls from Riley Leonard last week, so I'm not super worried. I think he's the one that gets hurt the least by whoever starts at quarterback for the Colts.
Yeah.
Plus, you guys like Keon Coleman over Juwan Jennings still, I'm sure. So,
I mean, and also with Sandy, it's not like he's always been starting four wide receivers.
Mhm.
He started,
Kenny Gainwell.
he
We're,
started
we're
the
not
D
talking about
mount.
full rosters. We're talking
But I'm
about wide
saying that's like
receivers.
I know, but you were talking about Keon Coleman, Golden, and these guys, and what I'm saying is it's not like he's been relying on those guys week in, week out. So uh, I'm accounting for those guys less, whereas you're counting on your wide receivers more.
Yeah, I was like I said, Pat Bryant is the only one that seems like he's obviously sorry. Marvin, Pat Bryant both seem like they're going to be out. No guarantees, but seem like they're going to be out. Rome has been limited. T has been limited, but still in concussion protocol. Like you could legitimately be down to two guys. And and even if Rome does play, has not been
Mark,
that great the last 6 weeks or so. Uh,
Mark,
Marv has not been great I mean, I guess he was good the one 3/4 of a game that he played. I mean, Terry's like your most reliable guy here.
well, he's got Marcus Mariota thrown to him.
Well, he played
which
really
is
well
good.
in the game against the Broncos with Marcus.
I'd rather have
Don't need anyone shitting on Marcus.
I'd
Marcus is
rather have
solid.
the guy who threw him 13 touchdown passes last year.
I'd rather have the guy that threw 14 passes 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, come on, bro. So yeah, it was AJ Brown, I think, is the best receiver of this group, and Pittman, I think, is solid. And you just have a lot of injury concerns. Again, we're only grading on the next 3 weeks. We're not grading on true talent here, which obviously you'd be ahead of Sandy in that case. So that's my argument.
I could see your side of things, Cevan, with you versus Sandy, but I think, in my opinion, Trent is squarely above you.
Agree with that.
It's fine.
On to tight ends, perhaps the least important position, as you typically only start one, could start two in some cases. But we are nearly in perfect, I want to say lockstep for the third time here, nearly in perfect lockstep. One difference for Cevan, he's taking his boy Ben Sinnott over Travis Kelce for the fantasy playoffs, which is bold, and I don't respect it, but that's what he's doing. No argument from Cevan on that one. He's taking the Sinnottster over
Wait,
Travis
wait.
Kelce.
No,
That's
no,
just
no.
so wrong. That's the opposite.
Opposite, yeah. He's
Oh
taking
my God,
You
never
guys are
mind.
taking the
Oh my
Sinister
God,
over
Tyler,
Kelsey.
we're taking the Sinnottster over Travis Kelce.
That's right.
No other arguments, no other way to put it. That is what's going down, stamped. Um, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say here. The two top tight ends are 1 and 2. They both have a playable or startable tight end behind them as well. Trey's just been better this year, so they were an easy 1-2 for me. 3 was easy for me. I have 3 guys, 2 of which are good, if let's just say unexciting options, and then potentially a floor option, Hunter Henry. 6 was easy. I don't like Mark Andrews. AJ Barner is inconsistent volume. That being said, though, Mike Gesicki, if T. Higgins is out, potential real sleeper there. He had 6 for 88 and a touchdown last week. And then Sumner and Cevan, just not a good week from Travis Kelce. Dalton Kincaid has been really good, but
When
has had some,
healthy.
yes, has had some injury issues. So neither of them are guys you don't want to start, especially at the tight end position, but not comparing to the top guys, in my opinion. So Cevan, we'll start with you real quick here just because you have the disagreement. Please do not give a full rundown of every tight end that's listed on the screen. Just a quick summary of your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll start with Sandy. So AJ Barner.
I just said don't summarize every tight end on the screen.
Nah. Yeah. 1 and 2, obvious. 1 and 2 in Dynasty. 3, Reed, you do low key have an argument. Actually, no, you don't.
To be higher
Yeah,
than 3?
no, yeah, I realize
Yeah.
Trent has Goddard. Goddard's been good. Trent's got 2 good tight ends. Rob's got a great one and a rosterable one. Reed's got 3 he could start in a pinch. One of them. Uh, Hopefully he gets some more clarity with the Fannin Ferguson situation. That'd be awesome to start rookie tight end Fannin in
Call from the
the
taxi.
semifinals. Oh yeah, that'd be sick. Um, yeah, and then between me and Sumner, um, I don't really know why I put him in. I think it's you can flip him easily. It's not really a whatchamajimmy. The only real person of interest that needs to be talked about is the Sinister. Um, if he balls out this week, you could see me in third overall tight
No,
end room
no,
conversations.
no.
So there's that. Then yeah, Sandy has no depth behind Andrews, and Andrews has been touchdown or bust, believe it or not, this
I
year.
don't think you need tight end depth. It's
I'd
just
also argue that he actually has really good depth. AJ Barner has had some spike games this year, and Mike Gesicki, like I said, was really good last week, and T. Higgins may or may not play this week, and has been really good in the past when one of Chase or Higgins has not played. So I actually would argue Sandy only has depth,
Okay, depth.
but he's the number 6 room for me because everyone
He,
hates Mark Andrews.
he does have Tucker Kraft though on
Rip,
IR.
yeah,
rip.
that's good shout.
Tyler, thoughts from you?
Yeah, this was the easiest positional group for me to rank. I thought everyone was where they were at pretty squarely for me. Kincaid is that is Kincaid versus Kelsey was the biggest uh the biggest I guess decision for me to weigh is who I liked more there during the playoffs. But I sided with Kincaid. He seems to be healthy now, and when he has been healthy, he has been pretty solid overall. So I'll take I'll take Kincaid with the Chiefs offense struggling a little bit. I mentioned some of their opponents down the stretch here, so that's why I gave the edge to Monkas over Sumner for 4 versus 5.
Mhm. Okay. Wrapped up our positional rankings there. Also, if you weren't, we did all of these rankings blind. We could not see the other people's rankings when they did these. So these were all independent. There was no note sharing. So any identical rankings were purely that of chance. Quick, we'll go through our 2 picks for the round 1 preview, starting here with the 4-5 matchup. Mr. Trent, 9-5 on the season, picking up the big win to secure the 4 seed versus Sumner, coming off the worst loss of any team this season, losing to the 0-13 Schrader. Not how you want to finish the regular season, but nonetheless, even with
Well,
that,
go
did
ahead.
you have
Sorry,
something to
sorry.
say?
I do, but I'll let you finish your. That was rude of me. I didn't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt
what
like
the
that.
hell? Don't interrupt the host like that. But nonetheless, he finished the season with the third most points scored in the league, so he should have some confidence that the team is bouncing back. Tyler, did you want to say something before I went to the picks?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know we all know this happened, but I didn't realize it till now. This round 1 matchup is the two teams who each lost to a tanking team, like a definitely tanking team. Trent losing to me in week 2, and
That
then
was
in week,
like major
It,
tank for you though.
it
I mean,
was pretty tank.
did it happen? Yes or no?
Yeah, but you were in a
That's fair.
tanking team. You
That's
hadn't
fair.
traded your 2 best players yet.
Did it happen? Yes or no?
It happened. I
Sorry,
believe
sorry,
you.
sorry, sorry.
And here we are, Cevan and I taking Sumner, taking the 5 seed in this matchup, while Tyler stands behind his grand champion in Trent, and taking him. So Tyler, we'll start with you. You're taking Trent in this matchup. Give us a very quick rundown on why.
Yeah, I just think Trent has a slightly better team. Looking at the positional power rankings that we just did, I had Trent as overall my third best team, I believe. So I will roll with him.
That's crazy work right there. Uh, I took Sumner. I hope, actually, no, I'm not going to say anything about his lineup. I think potentially the key factor in this matchup could be Rico Dowdle. I don't think there's really
Mm,
any strong clarity on what his role will be coming out of the bye. Went from pure handcuff, Chuba gets hurt, bona fide RB1 when Chuba's out, still dominating the touches over, or sorry, Chuba comes back, they split touches, he ends up taking back over without the same efficiency. Now Chuba seems to be back to full health in the last game or two before the bye, and now coming off the bye, I would be very nervous to start Rico in a playoff game right now. But at the same time, he could come back out looking really good and continue to get 60 to 70% of the work, and maybe this is all for now. But I think he will be an X factor in this matchup for Sumner.
yeah,
Cevan, you're also taking Sumner in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is like they go pound for pound with each other. Um, pause. This is going to be one of the weeks. Sumner's been starting 4 running backs pretty much all year, and this is going to be the week he's going to have to pick wide receiver right. Um, at least for right now. Well, Mooney's locked into his lineup, and Wandale are his selections. But I agree with you. Running backs. Rico Dowdle does have a great matchup though against the Saints, so there is that. The other one would be worried about would be Ramondre against the Bills. I know he has been hurt. He missed 3 weeks, and then Travion kind of took over. He came back. He got more worked in last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now. But I also am under the impression that it's Travion's backfield, so potentially starting 2 running backs in, true 50-50 splits in the playoffs would be very nerve-wracking. But
I wonder if Ramondre will be in his lineup come Sunday. He has Sutton on the bench still, but Buffalo has also been a great matchup for running backs. Tons of work has gone to the backfield, so I
that's
do see your
true.
point. But I think it'll be interesting to see because that again that could be an X factor. I don't want to say it again, but like that's a big decision in this matchup
Yeah.
here is who he starts in that last spot where there's less clarity on an obvious start.
I will say that Stevenson being in the lineup right now had to have been his first thought because he was on bye last week, so there's no way he would have been in his
hmm
lineup.
I also
But yeah, I know I picked Sumner and it sounds like I'm dogging on him, but I do think it's really close. It's just uh I'm more worried about guys like I know Aaron Jones has a great matchup this week actually against Dallas, but he's already questionable this week. DK got hurt last week. He seems to be fine, but he's hit or miss. And then still the double tight end thing has worked. It's just sketchy.
The other interesting thing I think of note is Sumner, as of now, is starting Rodgers over Trevor Lawrence. Rodgers versus the Dolphins and Lawrence versus the Jets. So Rodgers is Monday Night Football. So this game could potentially, if Rodgers is still in the lineup, could potentially come down to Rodgers on Monday Night Football.
Dang.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Final first round matchup. We have Sandy. We have Monkas. Not a whole lot of lead in here. Two repeat playoff offenders from last season, the 2 seed in Sandy and the 1 seed from Cevan, now battling out in the first round. Tyler and I are taking Sandy, while Cevan, thank God, is betting on himself in this matchup. Cevan refuses to give us an accurate projection on sleeper because he's not putting anybody into his lineup, which is always helpful for this situation. So, Cevan, we'll start with you. Your glorified wide receiver group here. You're picking yourself. Tell us why.
Yeah, so obviously I can only start the two running backs in ETN and Gibbs. Just waiting on more clarity throughout the week to see who's going to be in the lineup. Right now, I'm missing a receiver and two flex. It's hopefully we don't get there, but there is a real world where I'm starting Ben Sinnott this week in a do or die game.
I
I
pray to
did
God
make
that
two
happens.
I did make two waiver claims in Douglas and Ty Johnson, but I hope it doesn't come to that. Um, yeah, I think we match up well when, you know, my lineup's normal, but my lineup's
hmm
not normal, so Sandy probably does have the edge. Just some of his more reliable players haven't been able to be counted on lately. Bijan's hasn't at least last week he didn't do well, but Mark Andrews, he's hit or miss. Kenneth Gainwell, hit or miss. David Montgomery, hit or miss. So he's got a lot of hit or miss guys. Not that I don't, but I just got to take myself.
Yeah, Sandy's healthier. Like you said, I think when you're all healthy, you match up really well. But Sandy seems just a hell of a lot healthier right now. But if we know anything about how fantasy football with you goes, all of Sandy's hit and miss guys will miss this week. So, Tyler, you're also taking Sandy. Anything else to add?
Nope, same thing, health, and I'll also pick against the team starting Kirk Cousins. No
Yep.
offense.
Usually wise. Well, that's our playoff preview here. We hope you enjoyed it. Any last thoughts here very quickly before our Zoom session ends? Or are we good to run?
Shout out Swirly.
Shout out Swirl. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you guys for listening. We may have another episode this week, maybe not, but definitely next week. And we'll see you then.